Hello, everyone. Today is September 7th, 2024. Uh, Happy Saturday to some of you who are watching this. And like I said, I never usually do this, but right now I have mostly the free time in the world right now. So like I said, I can do YouTube in my free time and whatnot. And there's something I like to get off my chest, which is I have been noticing. All right. So, last video, something doesn't feel right about the election polls right now. Right? I've noticed there's quite a majority of people who are watching. Last time I checked it, there was about 8 people who watched it. And that's impressive, really. So I'm thanking you to those 8 people. Or if, one's already joining currently as I'm making this video, then I want to thank you too. I want to thank all of you. Because so far, before I continue, I have over 194, to say at least, views. Almost to 200. Almost. Now, this is something I didn't really, this is something that I said, I'm not really doing this to become famous. I'm just looking forward to getting your guys' attention. And like I said, this is all because of you guys. And eventually, in the near future, I will guarantee you, I know, but you can't trust me because you personally don't know me. But I will guarantee you, it's somewhat of in a near future, that if I become governor, I would love to give every single cent out on the first day I get paid to all the jobs, to all the residents here in New Hampshire. But you have to be in New Hampshire. You have to be a resident in New Hampshire in order to guarantee these promises. Or, or some people could say, so what if I'm not from the U.S.? What if I'm from like Massachusetts or New York or California or whoever? Well, if I do end up becoming president, and I would love to, because right now our world's going through a mess, and what I'm sensing is at the moment is what I fear is actually a potential risk, and I will post the description down on what I'm talking about. So, last video I made about a second Civil War topic. So yes, this kind of does relate to the election polls from yesterday, and from that Civil War video, second Civil War video that I made, well, prior to like 2 weeks ago. And like I said about the Civil War, doesn't mean people will eventually start to talk about it and then die down. Doesn't mean the potential risk that you're seeing possibly in front of your eyes, because like I mentioned, how could someone be so hated and then win? Who's voting for her? I mean, sure, more brainwash material. It doesn't count as, I guess it counts as cheating, but like I said, both sides do it. So, they know it. They know it themselves that they weren't entirely winning. So right now, I doubt that they're really much winning. I think right now is that the government is actually having some restriction, or I have no idea what's going on, but it seems like that if Kamala is winning in the polls, then I am apparently sensing that someone that is really behind it, the deep state, if you want to call them that, is really pulling the strings on this one. Because what they are really trying to accomplish is to not let Trump in. But this video is more of a response to a guy that this video was made 10 months ago. So you could go ahead and watch it in the description that I would put after I'm done with this video. I don't know who he is, but he looked he looks very, how do I say this? Not helpful, but he looks like he plays a part in some of the justice or law for whatever. He's part of something. And he says he endorses Kamala, so I'm not hating him for endorsing Kamala. You have to understand, you can't hate someone for having an opinion, just like some people will have an opinion about Trump, and some people have an opinion about Kamala Harris. But the point I'm getting at is, there's questions that it was a news station. I doubt it's from like here in the United States. So why, maybe it is from the United States, or maybe it's from like another country, but this guy was speaking English, and I don't know, my thoughts are maybe he is from America, but I don't know that. You can't just assume that. But anyway, as this guy was being answered questions about what are the potential causes of the election, and do you fear of a civil war? This was being brought up. 10 hours ago. And apparently the guy says he's not worried at all. He's not really at all. Even though he knows the potential threat if they arrested Trump. Because let's face it, this is exactly my point. If Trump is really the bad guy that some of these people claim to say that he is, then why isn't he in jail? Shouldn't you trust your justice system to just put him in jail already and actually have the evidence? Why is he still running for president and winning votes if he was a criminal? Oh, but we don't have enough proof. Okay, but you can't. Okay, but somehow when some Republicans when Trump claims to say we're gonna do another investigation and the votes rigged, we're gonna have to look into like Biden's side of the family. Then those very high people who are controlling those puppets say there's no proof of that. There's no proof that he did any of these. Okay, but you have proof for Trump? Because like I said, presidential immunity. Every puppet has one. How do you think, from all the shit that they've done, like Barack Obama, George Bush, you would have thought maybe your country would have known to like put them in jail, or maybe it was like we the people that we would know. Okay, then if we acknowledge, if it's obvious that the stuff that they did, then why aren't they in jail? Biden will, God, even if he was involved in like wrongfully doing, he still has to pay the price. If Trump was doing it, then he has to pay the price. Bush has to pay the price because I am very concerned that that man never got arrested. Oh, but you guys have no proof of that, and that's just conspiracy theories. You don't know that. Of course they don't, because they literally have all their files right there. They literally do. They have everything that they got on them, just in case if they decided to turn around against them and expose. And if that person was done being a puppet and just say, guys, our government's not what it seems like anymore, and whatnot. But this is absolutely ridiculous. But in my response is, why isn't this guy, well, this is a question I asked myself when I was watching this video. Why was the person being asked, do you fear that a civil war will happen if Trump doesn't? And he knows that there will be some sort of civil unrest if Trump doesn't win. They know that. He said, well, yeah, that's just Trumpism and whatnot. It's just another, like, Trump deranged syndrome where, you know, people are actually thinking that he didn't do nothing wrong. Let's face it, every president has done wrong. Am I saying Trump is all good and whatnot? No. Do I trust that the justice system do anything? No. I mean, what the hell? I mean, they're trying to get everything off of him. Turns out that it's not working. They trialed him in a court and whatnot, and yeah, he still didn't go to jail. Oh, but what about the January 6th insurrection that people claim to say that he caused? Okay, why isn't he in jail for that? They claim to say, but there's not enough evidence. They are some of the most powerful people. If they knew what Russia was doing, and if they knew the 9/11 attack, if they knew all that, then how do they not know about Trump? Then how do you not know about Trump's record? Which is plain obvious in making a point of myself. This is ridiculous. This is what I fear. It's either this. Trump will become president. Let's face it, he's already winning. I don't care if some people say, but Kamala's winning. That's just propaganda. That's just propaganda to make you think that Republicans should lose hope, that some Trump supporters should lose hope. Because they claim to say, well, Trump is a bad guy and we have the papers to prove it. Okay, then why isn't he in jail? Oh, but there's no evidence. Of course, they're going to keep on saying the same thing. Oh, because Trump has some really powerful lawyers. Don't you have also powerful lawyers? And didn't you literally have the court literally paid underneath the table to make Trump guilty of fraud, of like tax fraud or whatnot? Well, yeah, I mean, if that was fraud, then that would be illegal, but he's not in jail, now is he? Exactly proving my point. I worry that there is actually potential going to be a second civil war. There is. I mean, I even predicted that they're going to do whatever they can. You think that all that trial and nonsense, you think they're just going to let that slide after Trump wins? No, Trump is actually going to go after them. And that's what they worry. They're worried about being exposed over the illegal stuff that they shouldn't have done, all the unlawful stuff. Attacking the Constitution as some of these puppets and the deep state, whatever you want to call them, know exactly why. Well, they see the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, as a piece of paper with words. They don't give a shit about who was really behind it and what made America. No, because as long as we have modern technology and better politics, then we don't have to acknowledge, sure, we could talk about it, but we don't have to actually acknowledge the fact that we as a powerful nation will can ignore it. That's basically unlawful. And we, the people, have the right to defend for that. Oh, but where does it say that in the amendment? I bet you can't remember. I bet some of them can't even remember themselves because all they do is look at it like a piece of paper with words. And of course, all they got to do is write in a few things and say, there, now it's fair. You just ran over something that's already been written. Yeah, well, it still counts, so you got to follow that rule now. Okay, see, this is what I kind of worry about. People like this guy who isn't worried about a second civil war because, let's face it, he's probably one of those powerful people too who will get provided security, being someone of those pussies who hide behind security. Because what happens if one day there is civil unrest and eventually the people win anyway? The people win. It's the people that always win. Eventually it does become a rebellion. And then my dreams of hope of actually becoming a film industry and being a governor, it's all down the drain. Because what we're experiencing so far is not because of Trump. They're just blaming it all on Trump. It's more nonsense. And whatnot. They're just going after him because he can't be controlled. That's what it is. Making that president do all the dumb shit in this country that they say they promised to fix, but end up ruining it anyway. Oh, wait, we can't go to wars even though it fuels our economy? Man, we're gonna lose so much money. And I doubt the people are gonna be happy if they pay even more taxes. Of course they're not. No one's gonna pay that much taxes. But hey, as long as they make you stay desperate for a job and desperate for having all these needs that they know that you say, even though that some of them claim to say, I don't need to live without it. Well, some of those who claim to say they don't need to live without it, it's either you don't grow your food or you produce your own electricity and you claim to say, I can just live for whatever I buy. Okay, what happens if you run out of those resources? What are you going to do by then? I guess I'll just go buy more. Really? Over the stuff that they have control of? All of the shipping, the taxes, the food that they give out, the resources they put in the stores, the ones that make sure that they get enough money, that kind of thing. No, some of those ones who actually have their own food and grow their own food and actually make their own energy and drink purified water from nature itself and actually raise good animals and raise healthy and good animals are the ones who eventually survive this. It's rural countries, it's rural places that actually manage to survive the most. The cities are quickly to die down. Any state that has a city will eventually die down. No one's going to want to live there. They're eventually because all the resources are going to be drained if this is what I'm talking about, a second civil war does break out, and I have a feeling that it will. Because look at the shit that they're saying and look at the shit that they're trying to do. I bet they are just waiting, even though they have no proof of it, even though they claim to say they have proof of it, they're going to, and I have a belief, that they are going to arrange a court date to delay Trump when it's almost election day, when it's almost to reveal the election. No, because I worry that Kamala Harris is going to win because all I know is that they're going to hold Trump back. It's either that they will put him in jail or they keep him in there, but I doubt that they'll just let it slide. I doubt it. This is like, to me, this is scary. Not because I worry about what our country will go through. It's because of the fact that I want to live a life. I do. I want to go to the college that I want to go to. I want to get the jobs that I want to work at. But we can't have that if our country's on a brink of a second civil or rebellion, or you want to call it, a civil unrest. That's scary. Well, to some of you rural people, it may not, because you're up there in the north. I mean, you're away from the city. You wouldn't have to worry. But I had my second thoughts. Yes, I am totally aware that there was going to be some sort of civil war. It's inevitable. I've said it before. It's inevitable. I mean, these governments don't really give a shit themselves either. I mean, this is a perfect opportunity for them to just prove a point. Oh, look at all these violent people just getting mad. Yeah, this is what your president, this is what these people voted for Donald Trump for? Is these the people that you want to get involved with? Yeah, I don't think so. When you know in reality they're just mad because they rigged it. Well, I doubt they're going to rig it. I mean, they can't. Unless they could either, how do I say this? Well, they could keep on playing the whole who's going to win and whatnot, like saying Kamala's going to win, Kamala's going to win, Kamala's going to win. And what if they actually change the votes in front of you? Oh, but no one is on there 24 hours now, are they? They could always just change the numbers a little bit. I mean, they are. Or they're going to pull the same thing like Jamie Ratsky was telling us before. That man should have obviously been jailed, and I will say this. I don't care. Anyone who incites a civil war claiming to say, oh, it's decided to, you're going to jail, pal. That's literally invoking violence. I don't care if you claim to say, but it will be the Democrats that will do it. Why are you blaming parties? And I'm going to talk about this one Republican. But you got to be careful for some Republicans who claim to say that they're Republicans. Because you got to look at it this way. Chris Sununu is not a Republican. He's considered a rhino. Rhinos are what my father says are labeled as Republicans, but have a Democratic viewpoint. So it kind of just proves that they could be just Democrats in disguise, really. Trying to pinpoint on Trump, making him look bad. I think that's the whole point of they're trying to pinpoint shit on him by joining the party that they represent and doing something absolutely stupid, like this one Republican who decides to say if the left wants to rig the elections, steal the elections, and kill Trump and whatnot. Yeah, I doubt that's a real Republican. It's like encouraging this. Get that guy in jail. I don't care if he's a Democrat or Republican. That guy is inciting a war that they know the potential risks of. So let's not do that right now. Let's not do that. Oh yeah, some people actually worry that the Venezuela elections that was currently happening will play the exact same effect as the United States could. Now it could be a possibility. I think it might be happening. Well, they couldn't get illegal immigrants to vote because they know the conditions that they live in is completely dog water, even though they give them everything. All they said was, here, you can have a house and a credit card and some education system. You don't have to take it, and we don't have to know if you're a criminal or not. I'm not saying all of them are bad people. I'm just saying, if you want to enter a country, then you have to go through all the process of actually doing it. Because if you do it without a passport, then that's illegal. That would be considered illegal. Because you're not showing the identification. I mean, why do other countries? I mean, imagine if I just went to Germany or Italy or one of my favorite places I never went to. What if I went to Japan and I just showed up without a passport? Oh, I could get in trouble. Okay, but in the United States, they could just allow anyone in because we say that we're open arms. No, that was intentional. The people who are puppets and claim to say that, oh, we could close down the border. No, it was all done on purpose. What they were trying to accomplish was trying to make all the illegal people vote. And making you think like, where all these votes come from? Exactly. Where did all those votes coming from? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it was just from the very powerful people that just let them in and have control of the law enforcement and whatnot. Well, some of them. Not saying all of them. and whatnot. But I'm just saying, this is just not the year that we need to be going through, like, that we need to, like, head to right now. We do not need to go through another civil war, even though some people, second civil war, even though some people claim to say, well, bring it on. Is it, well, bring it on, you know? Is that I can take them? Yeah, right. You can't take on a whole entire army that's been brainwashed into thinking they know what they're voting for is right, so go fight for it. Yeah, right. It's all like a scheme anyway. They want you to fight each other. They want you to strangle each other by the throats. So that way, they make you constantly have trust in them. It all leads out to the government at the end. Eventually, when a second civil war does happen, right? They are going to, no, watch this. I have a feeling that the government might reveal itself, saying, all right, everybody, we notice how much everyone's tired, and you're probably all done fighting. So let's take over. I feel like that might be their plan. To overthrow Trump, and then when everyone is, like, exhausted for how many years, because we can't just seem to ignore the fact that, oh well. Or, it's either this. They think they could take everyone on because they think they're already powerful enough with the military that they hide behind their backs and the law enforcement. They think that, oh, well, you know, they can deal with it because we fund them and whatnot. No, you are absolutely wrong, because have you not remembered that eventually, I have some feeling that if something were a civil unrest were to happen, or a second civil war, you're going to expect some of the National Guards to resist against the platoon that they serve with. And if their orders is, hey, National Guards, there's these very violent people, I want you to go deal with them and put them in their place. And yeah, definitely use lethal force if you have to. See? Just as long as they're controlled, then they have no problem with it. But I guess but you have to understand, when a second civil unrest does happen, my advice is stay away from any media whatsoever. Stay away from that, because eventually it's going to get controlled by the news channel that you support, acting like, oh, well, this is what's happening. The Republicans or Democrats or whatever. Yeah, they're still going to play the same thing. So stay away from that when shit hits the roof. And this goes for staying away from this platform as well. I advise that as well. Because I don't care if some people claim to say, but I trust this YouTuber like Tim Pool or whatnot. Can't trust them. I mean, I personally didn't mind him, but ever since I heard about, maybe if it's exactly true, but I don't know Tim Pool myself, that I've heard about some Russian buying scandal that they actually bought him, or the Russians were actually, how do I say this? We're actually intervening in, like, right-wing media, like, you know, Republicans, and they claim to say that they support for them, but they're actually Russians. We have to understand that countries like Russia, China, Iran, all the ones that clearly hate us at the moment, they know that we will win from battle, but they at least know one thing, that our biggest weakness is from within. They know that if they can just tear us apart with all the joining on left side and make people even more aggravated, so that way if a first shot was fired from a citizen who claims to be a Republican supporter or a Democrat, it doesn't matter. They will eventually, and then that's how eventually shit hits the roof. But that's not the route that they're trying to go for. They're trying to claim to say that, oh, Trump's a communism. No, it's our own government that's pushing that. Yes, I do believe that there's some Russians involved, but I think they're only doing it because they're trying to tear the United States apart from within. But the government is also doing that as well, or the higher people, by claiming to say Trump is not going to win this year. I mean, do I think the election polls will be fair? I am generally surprised if it is, but what a coincidence that Trump didn't win the last time and now he's not going to win this year? It's quite obvious that you're making a Democrat already won to begin with, and then a Democrat's trying to win again. It's obvious. It is very obvious that they are rigging the votes. It is obvious. Or maybe is far from our expectation. Maybe it won't be a Democrat. Maybe it won't be Trump. maybe it will be someone else that we are completely unaware of. Someone, maybe it's a Republican, and maybe. Some people like to claim to say, like, oh, but Kamala's going to win. No, Trump's going to win. What if it's some random person that came out of nowhere? What does that make you feel like from the people that manipulated you from thinking that Trump and Kamala Harris are on both equal ties, so we will see at the end? And it ends out being a random politician we never voted for. Exactly. I think that's just kind of the route that they might be going. I think some people are only voting for Kamala because she's a woman. And they like say, well, this is going to be the first thing that America has ever needed, a woman. I don't care if our woman was transgender or black or Indian or Russian. I don't care who he or she is. Why does that even matter? Oh, you're doing it because that's gender. Oh, she's going to win because of the skin color that this individual is. Please. It's all about it's all about like seeing who is more trustworthy in our office. I don't even like Barack Obama, and I'm not saying it because of his skin color, and that's not it at all. He's just an idiot. He's controlled. He's like control. He was basically controlled. Oh, we went to war in Afghanistan, and yeah, ISIS is killed. Good job, Barack Obama. Are we going to end the war? No, we are not going to end the war. Why are we not going to end the war? Because there are a lot more terrorists to be dealt with. That war was endless. There was no point to be fighting in there anymore. Oh, but there were still more terrorists involved. Okay, and look what that got us. Even more inflation. Because they put money, like billions of dollars, into military equipment, and then they just give that to, like, the troops. As the war's being. Trump, when he got into office, sure, he may have not ended the war immediately, but he stopped it. He finally stopped the Middle Eastern conflict nonsense. Which is ridiculous. But, anyway. Yeah. For some of those people, I thank you for some of those who are watching this. I really do. And if some of you actually have a life and whatnot, do not worry about the potential, actual, inevitable. I'm not saying it's going to happen this year. My chances are Trump will win. But they keep on telling you that Kamala. But you'll never know. They can always rig it. They could always just throw Trump in jail and whatnot. Or they can just hold him off as Kamala is like winning. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to stall Trump. That's what they're doing. And that's basically cheating. You can't stall someone from actually winning just so eventually, like, sorry, you can't do any of that stuff in the moment as we're still under investigation. And then watch this. Eventually, Kamala Harris ends up winning because they let her, because they let the votes, like, up ahead and they let her do her campaign thing or whatever. But other than that, thank you everyone for listening. It's just, for some of you who actually have a life and whatnot, just live it as soon as you can, because our country is about to be possibly going through a shit show eventually. But let's not, let's just enjoy it while we still can. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'm really hoping it doesn't happen. My chances are it's not going to happen. Not this year. But anything could surprise me. Anything. It could surprise me or you. Doesn't matter what side you support. But other than that, thank you guys for listening. Stay smart. Stay strong. Stay healthy. Stay smart. Stay curious. All those kinds of things. And I will eventually come back and make other videos whenever I feel like it. I know for some people, there's a lot more other things that could be going on, but I like to see whatever I can come up with. It might not be tomorrow, might not, but who knows? It all depends how I'm feeling. I mean, it turns out all these yesterday and the day before have been going out pretty well, really. And I want to thank you guys for actually helping the views grow a little more, and I appreciate it. That's all done by you guys. All of it. And I want to thank you guys for that, really. At Blocky the Head, thank you. As again, keep on subscribing to each other. I'm not looking for subscribe. I just want your guys' attention if you ever are interested. But other than that, thank you guys for listening.